Hey there, planners. I've had a few weeks to play around and set up my new work planning system in this gorgeous A5 size ring planner notebook from Erin Condren, and I think I finally have it set up in the most functional way that's going to really help me achieve all the things I need to keep up with at work. I'm ready to share it with you, so go grab your planners and let's get planning. All right, I have had so much fun setting up this planner and taking my time and really working through exactly what I need without any excess or fluff to be the most productive that I can be at work. So I consider this to be a very functional planner. There is going to be some decorative elements because I need it to be pretty to come and use it, but for the most part, this is a highly functional planner for me. So I'm ready to dive right in and share with you and hopefully give you some ideas on how you might think about your work planning system. I also want to address this little gorgeous beauty over here. So it may look like I'm having a nice wine spritzer. I'm not. This is my new obsession. So I am getting these sparkling water, just pure caffeine-free, sodium-free sparkling waters, sugar-free, from Amazon, and it's the Amazon Fresh line, and mixing it with a splash, like a tiny splash of the Torani sugar-free coconut syrup, like the coffee syrups, and then some fresh fruit, and chef's kiss. It's so delicious and refreshing and still water, so I'm hydrating, and it's just everything right now. I've done it with kiwi, blueberry, thrown some mint leaves in there. Like, I'm just having a blast. So I'm gonna slide this out of the way, but if you see the glass coming by, just know I'm not over here boozing it up. I'm having a very refreshing spring beverage. Okay. The planner. So I did a full unboxing and sort of look at all of the goodies that I got from Erin Condren recently. If you want to see that, I will have that video linked down below. And in that video, I did talk a little bit about how I was thinking about using this planner. So it's funny because the planner is showing up more green in I guess the lighting outside. It's a little cloudy today, so it's showing up more green. The color of this planner is absolutely beautiful. It's called Basil, and it really is just a really gorgeous basil color. I love it. I have it very stacked. It does have two snaps. I've got it on the second one. I think it's fine because it's a ring planner. I can pull things out of it, and I have struggled in the past with ring planning systems. I've talked about this. I think I even at the end of last year made my regular subscribers promise me that if I even thought or mentioned the concept of going back to ring planning, that you guys would remind me how much I hate ring planning. However, work is a different scenario. My problem with rings is that I don't want to throw anything away. And so what do you do with the pages when they're full? Like, how do you archive them? That's not going to be a problem with work because it's not like there are precious family memories in here. I don't need to know what I did on Tuesday a year ago in April from a work standpoint, right? So I can keep the things I need to keep. I can transition the things that need to go into long-term storage into a digital solution like OneNote, and then I can get rid of the things that I don't need. So, all right, let's do the flip through. There are some pockets in this planner. I expect that random bits of paper from work standpoint will make their way into these larger sort of secretarial flap pockets. There's not a lot of paper at work anymore. Certainly not like there used to be. Definitely a reduction in paper over the last 5 years, but there are some. I work with a few people who love paper, and so I imagine that there will be some paper that makes their way in there. I'm not planning to put anything in there because, again, the focus is functional. I do have two ollie clips here. I have a smaller one and I have the larger one. They're in that green, tried to get that green color to kind of go with the with the color here, but that would be good for clipping things together or marking a place or, you know, clipping some papers in here. So I just have those in anticipation of needing them at some point in time. I have a this was a planner insert for like a pocket or a personal size. It had hole punches here where you could actually put it in the planner, but it's just got these really great little tabs. I will try to find this and everything else that I'm using. I will link down below as much as possible. Some of it is just old stuff that I've had for a really long time, but most of it I should be able to link. But these are just really cute little tabs, and when you need to mark that page to get back to, you know, if you find yourself flipping between two sections or two pages in a planner system, that's when I like to go grab a marker so that I can mark that spot. I've also just got some of the sticky notes from Erin Condren in here. I am obsessed with the sticky notes. Look how beautiful these things are. They're so pretty. I just think sticky notes are they're like functional stickers. That's why I love them. They're functional stickers. One of the subscribers that's been around for a long time commented on the unboxing video, "Of course you got the sticky notes. Like, I would be worried if you didn't." Of course I did. Okay, here in the front, I have also attached a insert here from Erin Condren that is basically a sticky note dashboard. And these are the sticky notes in the Bold Blooms pattern, which matches some of the other items that I got from Erin Condren. I love this. I love this for the functionality. I love the size. Like, look at the size of these. These are not your normal size sticky notes. Like, I think this one might be like the 2 by 3. The rest of them are very unique sizes. And I love having this here also because it protects anything that might happen here. It's protecting the front pages of the planner. So, all right. Throughout this planner, I have used these acetate sheets that I printed myself and dashboards. And I will have links down below. These are printable dashboards that I got from a few different shops on Etsy. For example, this is from Alibi Design Studios. I got maybe a couple different printable dashboards from there. And then most of these are from a shop on Etsy called Plannerity. I guess it's Planner ITY, Plannerity. I'm not 100% sure how you pronounce that. However, they are gorgeous. And I got a lot of printable dashboards there. I like to get printable dashboards because I like to use things over and over again. And it hurts my heart to buy a dashboard that I'm going to use one time, or I only have it in one size. So I really love shopping Etsy for printable dashboards or making my own. I went with printable ones for this planner so that I could have a really cohesive look through the planner, and you'll see that I stuck with the florals to go with the sticky notes and the coloring of the planner. I might end up flipping this out and changing it to something else later, but okay. So this would be a decorative aspect of the planner. Yes, it is a bit decorative. How much time will I spend here? Like none. I'm going to be flipping to the section that I want very quickly. So this is decorative, and it's just because you got to have some pretty in your planner. At least for me, I do. Okay. When I get into here, the first thing I have is a dashboard that I actually made called Inbox, but it's really just a sticky note dashboard. I wanted a place to stick some tabs and some sticky notes, and you can see on the front and the back, I've got and this is really very functional so that if something comes up, you know, and I don't have time to figure out where it goes in the system, or I don't, you know, it's at the end of a meeting and somebody shouts something out, or I see somebody in the hallway, or take a phone call quickly, I can just come here and write it down, and it is safely captured in my system until I have the time to appropriately process it. That's what this is. I made this myself by taking a piece of vellum, printing Inbox in this font on the piece of vellum, and then printing it out, cutting it down, and then laminating it. So that's how I made this. It gives that transparent, translucent look, and it functions really well as a sticky note dashboard. And I've just got some of my my cute little Erin Condren sticky notes there. Next up, I have this insert, A5 planner insert. Oh, I lost some stickers, some sticky notes there. I think this sticky is not wanting to be sticky. I might have to address that. Okay, this is a zipper pouch from Erin Condren. I love it because it's got the little zipper pouch tab here. And I have put just a handful of what I think will be very useful, functional stickers for work. So some of them I made. I have a whole video about how I make these little icon stickers. I'll have that listed down below. And then also just some like old Happy Planner stickers, different stickers that I might, days off, prioritize important, things like that. Stickers that I might want to use when I'm trying to call something out to myself. There's not going to be a lot of sticker decorating going on in here, but I will use stickers when I want to quickly denote something that I want to call out or remember in my planner. So that's what that is. All right, and then this next page is a year at a glance. This is actually a freebie from Planning with Bee. You can find this on her website. I printed it out on an A5 sheet of dot grid paper. This is pre-hole punched dot grid paper that I got from Amazon, and I'll have, again, everything linked down below. I'm using this as a quick glance for a couple of reasons. One, just to have a calendar here, very quickly be able to look at a calendar. Secondly, I've marked company holidays and days that I know I'm going to be out of the office. And that gives me just a really quick look at that. These stickers are some of my favorite stickers, and they come in this giant pack. This is just what I could grab, a handful of them. They come in this giant pack, and I have had this pack of stickers for probably 4 years now, maybe even longer. They are little transparent dots in very beautiful muted colors and a very wide color scheme. They're really the perfect size. They're so cheap. I think like 6,000 dots or something like that come in this pack. But I've been using these forever, and I love how transparent they are and that I can still see the numbers through the calendar. Now, as I continue to flip, I should probably mention some things are going to be blurred out because I have been testing and trying things out in this planner for the last couple weeks. And so I've got some things that are already work, confidential. So I will try to keep the blurring to a very minimum. I know you guys do not like it when I blur things out, but unfortunately, in order for me to be able to test and ensure functionality and share that with you, I have to blur things out. So I'll try to keep it as minimal as possible, but that's just going to be the thing. Okay, the next thing I have is a someday list, and this is a safe place for me to keep things that I think are worthy efforts, but I just don't have time to get to them right now. So I will come here and capture them here and use them, come back to them as I have time. When I'm quarterly goal setting, when I'm reflecting at the end of the year, when I am thinking about things that I could delegate to others that would be developmental in nature, this list comes in handy for those reasons. I have not fully populated this list, but I have started to populate this list. Now I've just got a few sticky notes there. This insert I actually made myself. This was pretty easy to make in Canva. So, all right, the next section, and you can see I have planner tabs in various places. These clear dashboards in A5 size, they are top tab, but I flip them upside down to be bottom tab because personally, I find it so much easier to see this than to see up here. When I'm sitting back on this side of the planner, it's much easier to see down here than it is to see up here. So I like to flip top tabs upside down and use them as bottom tabs. These come from Amazon, and then I also have side tabs that are from Amazon. I'll talk about kind of how I'm using them differently. The bottom tabs are the major sections of my planner, and I have 5 major sections of the planner, not counting this little front section, which is just sort of inbox and quick reference items. I have goals, projects, areas, which is short for areas of responsibility, my schedule, and notes. And I don't know, because of the lighting, I'm not sure you can see that. Let me see if I can turn it this way. So you can see goals, projects, areas of responsibility, schedule, and notes. And the labels that are on these planner tabs actually come with the transparent dashboards from Amazon. So that is so handy. It's this huge list of, let's see, I have some examples, and you can see I've used some of these, but they come in, it's a pack of 3 that come with this in 3 different colors. So you can choose between rose gold, gold, and black. And it's got all the months spelled out. It's got the months in shorthand, and then it's got other, you can see I pulled the 5 that I'm going to use, but you've got a lot of other options. I just find that really nice to include. Okay. I have 3 items layered here. I have the dashboard with the tab so that I can quickly get to it. I have a printable acetate, and I will link the acetate. I've tried so much acetate over the years. So I print these on this acetate with my EcoTank printer. I'll have it linked down below. So you don't need a special printer. You don't need a laser printer and all. It's just super simple to print on, and it works. It dries quickly. So I'll have that down below. It's a great way to customize your planner, and acetates can be planner acetates can be very expensive. Okay, so I've got that in here. I tried to match sort of the acetate with, whatever the tab is. Grow in your own time. Again, I'll have the shops that I got these printable dashboards down below, and then gorgeous. Isn't that so beautiful? And it goes so well. These dashboards go so well with the basil colored planner cover. Okay, into the goals section. So the first page I have is a breakdown of what my 2025 goals are for the organization that I work in. Different companies do this different ways, different people do this different ways, but basically I have 4 categories for my department. There are 4 categories of goals, and I have them listed out in detailed description here. Then when I flip the page over, I have taken those same 4 categories in the same, sort of setup, and I have listed out in extremely simple language what that means for me. Like, what are the specific things that I am going to be working on this year? And they can be projects, initiatives, or areas of responsibility that are going to achieve those goals. So what does that mean for myself and my team? And then I have 4 of these checklist pages, or actually it's 2, but double-sided, of these checklist pages from Erin Condren. And my intent here is to do 1 quarter per page. So for example, the first page, the front side of this will be quarter 1, 2025. This will be quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4, and each of the boxes correspond to those 4 categories of goals. And I will list accomplishments. So what did I actually achieve in those 4 goal categories? This is, of course, I have records of this in other places, right? I'll have records of this in emails and project documentation and, reports, all that stuff. But this is really for me to have a quick glance of what are my goals and what have I done to achieve them. And also a great way to remember when it comes to the end of the year and we're doing that review, annual reviews, all of that stuff, that I can have a quick glance for this. I think this is the simplest, most functional system that I can have for quickly documenting, what I've done. What have I done for the last quarter? And I won't necessarily wait till the end of the quarter to do this. I will make sure to do this at the end of the quarter, but I won't necessarily wait for the end of the quarter. I can do this on a monthly basis, come in here and update those. So that's what this section is. Then I have a side tab. So between the major sections, the 5 major sections of the planner, I have used side tabs, also in transparent, to section out different portions within there. So this is goals, The front section is my major goals for my department and accomplishments. This next section is for one-on-one meetings with my boss. This is a beautiful, look at that beautiful vellum. This is a printable dashboard. I've just printed it on vellum to kind of give a little bit of privacy to what's behind there. But you can probably see the title here is one-on-one meeting. So these are notes, and I'm going to go to a blank one. These are one-on-one notes that I have one-on-one meetings with my leadership. So how I plan to use this is actually just a notes template that came from, I can't quite remember what planner shop because I've had it for so long, but I will have listed down below some of my favorite planner printable shops from Etsy down below. I added in the title here at the top and the place for the date. But basically, I want to use this gray section to come in and make a list of things that I want to cover for my next one-on-one meeting with my boss. And then down here is the place for me to make notes and take action items during the meeting. So for example, I would come in here, throughout the week, and say, oh, you know what? I need to talk to my boss about that. Oh, I need to get their approval for this, or we need to go over the schedule for this, or I need to get direction on this. Kind of make a little checklist of things that I want to cover. Now I go to the meeting. I have this. I sit down and I go through the items that I need to cover, or that they need to cover, and make notes about what was said, take any action items, all of that. I'm only planning to keep these in here for a month at a time. So I have just enough sheets to cover all the one-on-ones that I have with my leadership this month, the month of April. When I am done with the meeting, I will take all the action items or key notes or directions or messages and make sure they get put into my system somewhere else. That may be scheduling an activity or an action that I need to take. It may be documenting a priority that I have in the goals section. It may be putting something in my permanent long-term note storage, which is OneNote, something like that. But once I have it completed the meeting, I've processed all the outcomes of the meeting, then this can be thrown away. It's trash after that. So it just serves the functional purpose during the meeting. Okay, so that's the first section I have in goals. The next section I have in goals, I have put a tab, another side tab here, and then I have two miniature sections, and these are little labels, little Avery labels with my label maker. I put an additional little tab. I'm not going to go into these because these are actually sections, individual sections for my team. And it goes into what their goals are or what activities are going on, one-on-one notes for them, things I want to talk to them about, all of that stuff. So that's what that is. And then the final section back here, the third little tab within the goals section is for my own development and plans, and isn't that so gorgeous? I will flip here. This is a running list of development items. This is an insert that I made, but it's basically just a checklist of development activities that are going on. And then I have some notes paper in here, anything else that I'm learning, my own development, anything else that I'm pursuing, ideas, things like that. Notes from meeting with mentors, all of that stuff will go into this section. And again, once everything has been processed or stored in permanent notes, I will take it out of here. So that is the goals section. Now I'm going to flip to the project section. So this is the second major tab at the bottom. All right, projects are a major part of my work, and multiple projects. Managing multiple projects, and so this was a very important section to have in my planner. So I've got again a acetate, these beautiful aesthetic around mindset, and then gorgeous floral dashboard, and then I actually have a master list of projects that I am currently managing. So, and you'll also see color coding here. I color code my projects across everything. So when a project is assigned the color of pink, it is pink everywhere. It is pink on my Outlook calendar. It is indicated by a pink highlighter. It has pink dots when there are actions. It's got a pink divider here in this section. So once it's given a color, that color stays assigned to that project for the life of that project. One note, because I know this will come up in questions, I have a section for projects and I have a section for areas of responsibilities. This concept comes originally from the Building a Second Brain or Second Brain methodology by Tiago Forte. It is a fantastic book if you're looking for a new way to structure and organize things in your life. It is a great way to think about them. But the basic differences between the two are projects have a start and end date. Areas of responsibility do not. They just are what they are. They are areas. So if I apply this to my personal life, a project would be a real life example for me right now. I need to repot some of my houseplants. That's a project. It is something that I need to start, meaning I need to start gathering supplies. I need to schedule the time. I need to check the weather. I need to actually do the activity. I need to move everything back into its spot and, all of that. It's a project. But once I'm done with that activity, it's done. That project is complete. I can close the book on that project. An area of responsibility is paying the bills, right? That is an area of responsibility that has to be done indefinitely. It is not going to, it doesn't have a start date. Well, I guess it did have a start date at some point in time that became a responsibility, but it doesn't have an end date like a project. It is just always going to be an area of responsibility. So that is the major difference between the two. If that concept is interesting to you and you find as I go through this, it could have applicability to help you stay organized, I highly recommend you go check out the book from Tiago Forte, and I will have that link down below because it is such a great, I keep coming back to that book and that concept. It's totally changed the way I do things at work and really in my personal life. Okay, so here's the master list, and this is really just to keep up with what projects are actively on my plate, what was the start date, are they closed or finished? So that's what this is. And then behind this, I have additional tabs for each project that are color-coded. Now these dividers are white, sort of thick cardstock. And the pack comes with these color-coded labels. I printed out the label and name for each project here and put that on there. But it just comes with the white spot where you can write it in or put your own label in. Behind each one of the tabs, the first page I have for the project is the Erin Condren project page, these inserts. I find these inserts to be really great for like a high-level view of what the project is. The first section is project details. You can see I've got my title up here, and then I've got the color coding here on the corner. I tried to match the color because the project pages, the inserts from Erin Condren come in a range of colors. I tried to match up the colors with the color coding system, which is very handy. You've got resource needed, start date, end date, important dates, and then there's two checkboxes down here. I turned these into a key deliverables list. So, and that's really personalized to me when it comes to this project. What is my role and my key deliverable related to this project? Behind the project page, I have some sticky notes on the back side where I can capture any important information. And then I have stuck one of these project sticky notes from Erin Condren. I absolutely love these sticky notes. I think this is going to be one of the most functional tools I have in this planner as it relates to projects. So I have titled this April 2025, and these sticky notes are just a fantastic size. They say status, important dates, and next steps. I find that I need to be, for all the projects that I'm managing at any point in time, I need to be able to speak to these items. What is the status? What are the key important dates for this month or upcoming? And what are the next steps that this project we're currently pursuing in this project. Being able to have this right here that I can flip to in the tab for each project is just really handy. And I will update this at the end of April. I'll pull this off, put a new one on, that becomes May, and I'll just keep doing that for that really quick status. Now, you'll notice that I don't have a lot of there's not a Gantt chart or a detailed project schedule. I do have some scheduling items in here, but that's because the bulk of project work is actually done in digital tools, project management systems, or, different things online that I don't actually need a lot of the day-to-day project management stuff in here, but there is some stuff I need in here, reference items, things that I can take from meeting to meeting or just have with me on the go. So that's what's in here. And then behind each one of the tabs and the introductory information, I have colored paper that is color-coded to match the color of the project. This paper I came also from Amazon. It's A5 size. It's got the hole punched already. So I really love having this paper in here because any notes that I need to take, any brainstorming that I need to do, all of that stuff I can put right in here, and until I get it transferred into the right part of my system, for managing projects. So I've got several projects here. They're all pretty much that same layout. I did want to show, I have this section, and I actually keep this color code in my system called Other. Sometimes projects evolve before I actually know they're a project. And so let me see if I can explain that. That's what this Other tab is for. For example, right now, I have this thing that has come up at work, and it feels like a project, but it hasn't actually been designated a project yet. I'm starting to be involved in managing it, so we've got kind of a start date. We're figuring out the end date. I'm not quite sure what my ongoing role is going to be with this yet, but it's shaping up to be a project. That is something that I would capture behind this tab. Until I know it is a project formally, meaning we have a charter, there's a sponsor, the deliverables are clear, dates are clear, all of that. It just kind of lives behind this tab as it's shaping up. It may never make it out of this tab. It may just from here be, kind of, it moves on or it dies and it becomes nothing. Or it may move into its own section with its own color coding and being scheduled, like all the formality of projects. But I do like to give myself this space, and I've got, I think, 2 items behind this tab right now that are sort of shaping up to potentially be projects, but I'm not quite sure they're going to make it there. Okay, so that is my project section. The next section is my areas of responsibility. You can think about the areas of responsibilities like the things that would be in your job description, or like if the job was posted to accept applicants, the things listed there, like what are your responsibilities, these would be captured under areas of responsibilities. So they're just part of your job, the things you do on a reoccurring basis. I have a lot of these, so I have started, again, I've got the clear tab, I've got the printable acetate, and then this gorgeous floral dashboard. And I double-sided printed these, so you'll probably notice on all of these dashboards, I printed them on the front and the back so that I could have, something pretty to look at on the back. As with the projects, the first thing I do is I have a master list of what my areas of responsibility are. These are things that just have to happen on a reoccurring basis, and there's a set of expectations with each one of these areas of responsibility. I need to remember what all of those are. I need to take certain actions at certain times, all of that stuff. Sometimes they're weekly actions, sometimes they're monthly action. A couple of these only happen once a year, but they are my responsibility or my team's responsibility, so I keep all of that organized here. You will note that there's a little bit of color coding because I do have 2 distinct sort of areas of responsibility, and I like to keep those indicated by 2 different colors. Again, these colors stay the same across all the parts of my system, my Outlook calendar, any notes that I take, all of that. So this is the master list, and then I have a tab for each one of the responsibilities. So for example, I will just turn to here, and the first thing you'll see is this checklist. So this checklist is, I've shown this before on this channel. It's a tool that really helps me get things done in each one of these responsibilities, especially when there are reoccurring activities on a monthly basis, or even more than, every other week basis. When I can clearly define what are the actions that I need to take, and those are across the top here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 actions that I need to take. This area of responsibility, those 7 actions need to occur at least once a month, sometimes 2 or 3 times a month. I have spelled out those actions at the top. I've got the dates that these things are going to occur, like the months listed down the side. And then I actually have the specific day that each one of those activities needs to occur. I cannot tell you, it feels like a lot. This feels like a lot to set out. But the freedom that this gives my brain, because, the list of areas of responsibility I have quite a few that either I or my team are managing. And I need to be able to keep up with what all of these things are and when they're due, and be able to check them off to say, yes, those things occurred, or no, they did not, or to know and plan for those things needing to occur. The fact that I don't have to think about that and do that sort of date calendar math every day, every week, is so freeing for my brain. All I have to remember to do is turn to this portion of my planner and look and see which date is not highlighted. When the thing occurs and is done, I highlight it in gray, so I know that very quickly what is the next thing that has to happen, because it's not highlighted in gray. I have that here. I also have this one, which is even longer, so there are less months that these need to occur, just one a month, but the number of activities there are a lot more things that need to happen in order to meet this area of responsibility. So again, I have all the dates listed out there. I also have in some of these sections some notes for what actually, what is entailed. If a certain deliverable is due, then I will have a description of that deliverable. I'm putting the relevant information for each one of those areas of responsibility in here. So it's partly reference and then partly checklist, so that I don't have to hold all of that in my brain. This is an extremely handy section. I'm actually thinking about how I can replicate that in my personal life, because there are some things that just have to happen reoccurring, and I'm holding all of that information in my brain, which is taking up valuable real estate, and I need all of my brain to be working to accomplish goals, not to remember dates repeatedly. Okay, I do have a section for other back here. I don't have anything in it, but just in case, I do have a section for other. All right, that brings me to the 4th major section in my planner, which is schedule. And this is calendaring, monthly, weekly, all of that. I've got another planner acetate, another planner floral dashboard, and then I have the next 3 months, and I plan to keep the next 3 months in here. I am using the Erin Condren A5 ring planner system inserts. I went ahead and purchased both the daily and the weekly because I wasn't quite sure what I would need. I actually thought I would be using the weekly, but it turns out the daily is actually much better for me. I did some playing around and trying both, and I found the daily to be much better. Aren't these beautiful? Like the bold blooms pattern from Erin Condren is absolutely beautiful. The next planner launch, it is planner launch season, so I'm super excited to see what the next planner launch looks like from Erin Condren, because I'm loving this system right now, so I'll probably be on the hunt for those. More to come on that. All right, so if I turn into April, I've got a monthly calendar here. I'm using this. Actually, I don't know quite how I'm going to be using this right now. I don't love the way I used it for the month of April. I captured like really high level view of meetings that are occurring, but I feel like that is so duplicative and not very functional for my work planner. So I'm probably not going to do it this way again. Haven't quite figured out how I want to use this. I think potentially a more functional way of using the monthly calendar may be to map out deliverables and deliverable due dates for the month versus meetings. I can just look at my Outlook calendar for meetings, but it's hard to look at my Outlook calendar or any single calendar to see all the project and key area deliverables in a month. So I think for the next month, for the month of May, I may be trying that. And then I have these two pages, which I have not quite figured out how to use yet. I actually would love your insights. So this is the dashboard. I love this dashboard. I think it's so great, the layout, and there's so much potential here that I almost feel like I'm paralyzed to use this. So this is just the back page of the April calendar. You've got such great sections here. I would love to hear your ideas. If you are using a dashboard on a monthly basis, whether it's Erin Condren or otherwise, I would love to hear, what do you capture? What functional things do you capture in your dashboard page? I've also got a notes page here. I'm not quite sure what I want to do with this either. And then I have one of the first weeks. I'm going to skip past that because I was kind of playing around and not quite sure what I wanted to do with weeks. I printed out this other weekly insert. So I spent the first couple weeks just kind of playing around and figuring it out before I came to the determination that I actually wanted to use days. All right, this is an Erin Condren page marker. It clips in to the planner. I have actually cut into the holes so that I can move it as I want to. I actually did that with most of the planner inserts, pages, dashboards, everything, because I don't want to be opening up these rings very often. Opening and closing your rings a lot can actually put stress on the ring mechanism itself, so I kind of want to avoid doing that. What I have on here are sticky notes, these adorable sticky notes. I got this pack of sticky notes from Amazon. They're just, I love it. To do, to ponder, to delegate. I should put these in there. That's great. To put off. That's wonderful. To remember and to buy. So I absolutely love that pack of sticky notes. And I'll have them linked down below as well. But what this marks, and you'll see I only have two top markers, and it's these two, and that's because I want to be able to flip to this from anywhere, and I don't need to see to do it because there's only two of them. This is a insert that I printed out. It is a to-do list. At the top it just says get it done. I have written on here April master task and the date that this list was started, which was April 3rd. And then it's got a to-do and a date. And the way I'm using this is things that I need to get done in the month of April that do not necessarily need to be done on a certain day. They just need to be done by a certain time. And so I've got them listed here, and I've got the due date here. And then on the back of this page is another to-do list with the date. I just put April up here because my intent is to use this for the whole month of April as much as I can. There are list sections, so there's 6 list sections broken out like little miniature list, and I am using these for specific projects, initiatives, or areas where I have to-dos that I don't necessarily need to do on a certain day, but I need to be working on them in the month of April. And that's how I'm using this, and I intend to move this along as each week and day passes. I intend to move this along. And I will keep this little page marker here so that I can always know where that is and how to get to it. This page sits in front of, let me get to a blank one. I'll get to a blank one so you can see how this is set up. So in the daily pages for Erin Condren, and I have all the daily pages for the month of April in here, there is this little miniature weekly view. And then when you turn over, you have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, so on. But you've got this weekly view. I have plugged in the dates. I have whited out Saturday and Sunday because I don't need it for work. I have a little sticker here, get it done, or sometimes it says prioritize. This is where I'm going to list my top 3 priorities for the week. And then I'm going to put in here anything that I just need to know that's going, like really, really headline stuff. Like maybe there's a major meeting or maybe I'm traveling that day. That's the type of headline stuff that is going to go here. And you'll see I've got the sticky note here, and that's because I'm giving myself a space. This is also an Erin Condren sticky note from way back. I don't know if they still have these. It's a habit tracker, but I'm actually going to be using it to capture anything like pre-planning before I actually get to the week. If I just need to come here and write something down for the week, I can put that there. All right, so I've got it filled out for the next week, the week ahead. And I've just got my headlines plugged in. I've also used stickers to, these are stickers that I made to denote when I'm going to be in the office, and I've got my top 3 priorities. So I did all of that during my weekly review at the end of the week last week. All right, and then this is where my second page marker sits. I have on this page marker 3 sticky notes with the Erin Condren 2025 calendars on them, and I'm just marking off the days. So this is really reference information, marking off the days as they go. I like having them on here. I like them on sticky notes, so I put the calendar down on the sticky note and then cut around so that I could easily move this sticky note. And, you know, like as soon as April's done, I'll move April up, move May up, put June on, throw March away. So that's purely reference there. And then here are my days. And the way I've got my days laid out, I've put on here if I'm in office or not. I've got the major meetings mapped out. I do want to see that. I know it's in my calendar, but I do want to see it in this planner because it helps me identify overlaps. It helps me see things that I need to prepare for. I've got my to-do list, and I plan to use this section for any incoming items, keynotes, sticky notes, I don't know, whatever else I need to use this section for. So that's how that's laid out. I went ahead and did the full week. And then I've already started populating for the next week things that need to be done, things that I'll need to, like pre-planning items. I've got the whole month of April in here. And then we get to May, and I've got a blank monthly calendar with a sticky note. Same thing for June, a blank monthly calendar for the sticky note. And I think I have just like one notes page in the back so that if anything comes up for July or beyond, I can capture that here. So I imagine what will happen is when I am actually sitting at my desk, I will have this planner open to the day that we're on, because that tells me what I need to do that day. All of the other sections are for pre-planning, for note-taking, but I will be processing the action items into the right place in my schedule so that things are actually scheduled on the day, and I can be confident that when I have my planner open to the day, that's the things that I need to be getting accomplished that day. All right, the final section is the notes section, and I just have my final tab and this beautiful floral dashboard. And then I have a smattering of different notes pages. I've got Erin Condren pages. I really love the grid pages. I think I'm gonna have to get some more of these. I really, really love these. I've also got some more of that colored paper, and I think that might be it. I also took and you can see the planner is full. It's full, but I could still open the rings if I needed to. I've also got the planner stickers, the A5 planner stickers that came with the weekly and daily inserts from Erin Condren. And then here in the back, I just stuck in the Bloom and Glow Bold Blooms sticker book. I went ahead and got that. I've got that in there just in case I need it in the back. And so that is a detailed flip through of my very functional A5 ring planner. Now, there is another tool. There is another tool in my planning system, which I have been been sticking in there like that. I don't think it's going to stick in there like that anymore. This is a Hobonichi A5 notebook that I have put a clear cover on and put some paper in. This is a commonplace notebook for work. I am going to talk more about how I'm using this in a separate video, and I'm really trying to embrace the commonplace methodology with color coding and all of that. So I will talk about this in another video, but I just wanted you to know there is one more analog piece to my system, and I'll cover that in the future. So that's a look at my new work planning system. I'm feeling good about it. I'm feeling like there are still things to figure out. There are still changes that I will probably make, but the functionality is here, and I feel like I can have confidence in my system to help me point me to the things that I need to get done and when I need to get them done. And that's really the most important thing about your work planner system or any planner system, that you can be confident in the system, that it's going to capture everything, help you process everything, and help you prioritize, and that nothing falls through the cracks. And I feel like this system is going to do that. So I would love to hear your questions, your thoughts. Is there anything I'm missing? Is there anything you would suggest? I would love to hear all of that. What's working in your own work planner system or your very functional planner system? I would love to hear that as well. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to Plannin' Annie for more content like this. As always, thanks for planning with me.